Y'all, am I single-handedly trying to bring back the scrunchie? Will I ever do another hairstyle? The world may never know. Well, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jade, if you didn't know, and today we're gonna talk about 10 movies from your childhood that you probably forgot about. Okay, so this is actually my cat, I swear, she doesn't try to do anything until I start filming. Anyways, so I actually was originally gonna do this as a BuzzFeed article instead of a video because I had planned on doing it a while ago. It's been in my brain for a while, and I think I actually originally had like 23 films or something on it, but my old laptop died, and so I have to get an old MacBook charger before that'll work, but that's besides the point. We're here today to talk about these 10 movies. Let's jump in. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is going to be Quest for Camelot. So this is one of those that I don't know why more people don't talk about it. It's one of those videos that totally smashes gender stereotypes, and it's literally the perfect video for 2017, yet very few people talk about it / maybe know about it. But it's literally about a girl who grew up around King Arthur, and then as she got older decided she wanted to be part of his court. And then when all of these things happen, she ends up having to team up with a blind man to like meet up with this like two-headed dragon to solve the problem. And then in the end, spoiler alert, they both become Knights of the Round Table. And yeah, totally here for that. But like, I just don't understand why more people don't talk about it. Like, Kaylee and Garrett are two wonderful characters. So like, maybe in 2018 we could have like a resurgence of Quest for Camelot, because that would be okay with me. Second movie is gonna be Rock-a-Doodle, and I don't know if anybody else felt this way watching this movie, but as a kid this movie freaked me out a lot, because it starts out that this little boy is, I mean, he's a human, and then he ends up getting turned into a mouse by like this like great owl, and he ends up going on a like mission to find Chanticleer, who's like the magical rooster who rules the farm, and like his crow is what wakes the world up, and he's like this anthropomorphic crow rooster that like looks vaguely like Elvis but is voiced by Glenn Campbell. Didn't even have to look it up. Went to Wikipedia, didn't have to do it. Glenn Campbell. And it's just one of those movies that like hardcore freaked me out as a kid, but I think it was the whole like Page Master feel where it like takes you from like a real world to like animated world, and it always weirded me out a little bit. The third movie is gonna be The Pebble and the Penguin, which you can't go wrong with a musical buddy film about penguins that's Martin Short and Jim Belushi. Hello. But it's literally like this poor little penguin is in love with this other penguin, and like he's being bullied because he's not like super outgoing or whatever, and like he makes this wish and this guy gives him an emerald and he wants to give it to his like lady friend, and like there's another big penguin that's like super mean to him about it, and he like ends up falling in the ocean and almost gets eaten, and then he like ends up on a human like ship thing, and like has to like, I think they're taking them to New York, and that's where he meets Jim Belushi's penguin character, which is like a rock hopper penguin, and all he wants to do is fly, and like you just can't go wrong, one, with penguins, because fun fact about me, I'm obsessed with penguins, so you really can't go wrong with penguins. So yeah, definitely that one. Next, The Black Cauldron. So this was a movie, it came out in the 1980s, it's a Disney movie, and it's based off of the book series, which there's more to it than just The Black Cauldron. There's like The Black Cauldron and like 2 others, I think. I read them when I was in middle school, but I loved the movie when I was really little. And it's one of those that I, like, never really heard other people talk about, but it's literally about this guy that he works in, like, a pig farm, and he, like, takes care of a pig called, Penfen, something like that. That it's like an oracle, like the pig can like see the future or like know where things are, and he has to like protect the pig from the Horned King, because the Horned King wants to like take the pig to use the pig to find the Black Cauldron and like raise this like army from the dead or whatever. And he ends up meeting up with this princess, Eilenwee, who is wonderful, and there's like other characters in there, and there's like all of these, and it's such a good movie, but it came at like such a poor time for Disney that I feel like it just didn't get a lot of marketing, because the movie didn't come out on VHS until like 1998. And fun fact, it was actually the first movie to be rated PG, and it was also the first animated movie for Disney, and I think in general, to include computer generated imagery. So that's fun, but it also brought about a really large financial loss for the company, and it was almost the downfall. So, you know, it's probably why they didn't release it until later on. But I digress. Next is going to be The Princess and the Goblin, which I know personally I annoyed my mom with this movie so much. But I even like remember the like previews in the beginning, because there was a preview for Kix cereal, which was like that awful cereal that it was just like unsweetened, like it was like corn pops but not sweet, so like it wasn't fun. But it's also based off of a book, which I loved growing up, but there's this like kingdom, and it's built on top of these little goblin, like this goblin kingdom, and the goblins can't come out in the sunlight, and so like the kingdom is pretty happy or whatever and all of this, and there's a song in it called Spark Inside Us that, yes, you definitely have it in my iTunes because I listen to it a lot. But eventually like the goblins like come out, and you know they try and take over the kingdom, and there's like magic string that the princess uses. And the way to like, the goblins have really hard heads, so to like beat them, you have to like use, like you have to hit their toes, because their toes are their soft spot. It's a weird movie, but I love it. And like Irene is probably one of my favorite characters, just because I think she's so adorable. 10 out of 10, do recommend that movie. And then the other one is, I stopped counting at this point. I don't know what I'm on. But The Magical Legend of the Leprechauns, which isn't actually an animated movie at all. It's obviously about leprechauns. But it's got Kieran Culkin in it. It's got Whoopi Goldberg. It's got Randy Quaid. Yeah, Randy Quaid. It's got Colin Firth's hot brother. And then there's some other things, and it's basically like kind of like Romeo and Juliet with like the whole star-crossed lovers, where a leprechaun falls in love with like a fairy and they can't be together, and then there's like Randy Quaid is a human and has to try and help save them, and then Whoopi Goldberg plays like the Grand High Raven or something like that. And it's an interesting movie, but it's enjoyable. And it's so hard to find. I've been trying to find it on DVD for so long, and it's like the universe is just like, nah fam, you don't need this on DVD. But I did find it online a couple of years ago just to watch, so that was fun. Cats Don't Dance, which was another one of those movies that it was so cute, and Darla Dimples is like one of the best villains because she's like this unassuming child, and I feel that on a spiritual level. Darla Dimples, spirit animal. But it's like, it's a musical one, but there's cats. It's like, it's all about like all of these animals, and it has one of the like biggest and grandiose numbers. Why am I blinking? Okay, sorry, I had to delete some things. Full memory card, because apparently I forget to delete things. Anyways, I was literally in the middle of talking about Cats Don't Dance. So it's just one of those movies, like, Charlotte Dimple has this like big grandiose thing with like an arc and like a big ship and like flooding. And honestly, oh, hold on, I moved you. And yes, she's perfect. Alright. A Troll in Central Park. This movie, I remember watching it as a kid because it's about a troll named Stanley who gets banished from the Troll Kingdom to Central Park and ends up becoming the troll under the bridge and meets these two kids, and he's just this like happy troll with a green thumb who loves to like grow things and like make plants and make all of these things, and like the goblin, the troll queen, like hates him, who, fun fact, is voiced by Cloris Leachman, which is like A+. And it just ends up that all of these things happen, and he gets turned into stone, and like the kid's love has to save him, and it's perfect, really. Fern Gully, which Fern Gully the Last Rainforest is probably up there with like my favorite movies, because 1, Tim Curry, 2, Samantha Mathis, who played Princess Peach in Super Mario Brothers movie, which is also one of my favorite movies. Obviously not part of this, but in general it's one of my favorites and I love it, and I had a full argument about how it's actually a great movie despite how cheesy it is with my coworkers when I worked at the news station, so it's still a great movie. And then who else is in it? There's I don't remember who's the voice of the main guy, but it's, you know, it tells the story of like what happens when you cut down trees in the rainforest, and it's like it teaches you a lesson. And I'm all about that in films, and it does it so well. And like when I was growing up, like the like ooze, like the oil that that like Tim Curry voiced or whatever, scared me so bad. Sidebar. What is your opinion on the Mandela effect? Nelson Mandela. Yeah. Because I know for a fact that I watched that stupid cheesy Sinbad movie called Shazam. And I know that I watched that Shaq movie called Kazam. They both exist, and no one can convince me otherwise. Watch them both. Swear. Okay, this one is the last one that I'm going to talk about, Freddy the Frog. So this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I found maybe like 5 people that have ever seen this movie. And I figured out a couple of years ago that it's actually an English film, like from Britain. And so I don't know how I actually ever watched it, but I did, and it's literally about, it's basically like a James Bond film, but animated. The main character is a frog. It's Freddy as FR07 is the actual title of it. And it's literally about this little boy who gets turned into a frog by his like crazy evil aunt, and he grows up to become a secret agent, and he has to like save the world from his aunt and this guy called like El Supremo, who are stealing the monuments of the world and like shrinking them down. And it's got Nessie the Loch Ness monster in it, and she's got like an awesome song, and there's all of this stuff, and it's one of my favorites, and it makes me so sad that I don't know a lot of people who have seen it. And it's, anytime I find somebody who's ever seen it, I'm like, automatically, you're my favorite person, we are friends for life, because I can talk to you about Freddy the Frog. Well, those are, I think it was 10 movies from my childhood, and maybe your childhood, that you could have possibly forgotten, slash, you know, maybe don't think of as much. And they all equally deserve your love, so if you get a chance, find them, watch them, enjoy them all over again, and feel like the child that still lives in your heart. Alright, if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what your favorite overlooked movie is, or like forgotten childhood film, and let's start a conversation. Don't forget, check out my socials, follow me on Instagram, hit me up on Twitter, love to talk, let's be friends. Alright, thank you for sticking around, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!
Nobody wants a lonely Christmas, but I'm about to call it quits with you. Breaking up is at the top of my wish list, and baby, you don't have a clue.